Yeah, this is my farm. Finally, look at it. Oh my goodness, this is sweet. I'm feeling so excited right now. Now, I am actually using an earthen pond. So during the process, while I was making my research, I tried to find out all the different kinds of ponds that can be used for better production. You get? So I realized earthen pond is actually better than every other kind of fish pond you can ever think of. Okay, you know, we have different types of ponds. We have the tarpaulin pond, we have the earthen pond, which is this one that I'm using. We have the fish tank, that is the plastic pond, and then we have the concrete pond. These are the four major kinds of ponds we use here in Nigeria, at least from the ones that I've seen and I've seen that other people use. So I actually chose earthen ponds because fishes, from everything that I read so far, I realized fishes actually grow faster and better using earthen ponds. Yeah, they actually grow faster and better. I know that would actually sound surprising to you because you might be feeling like, how would this actually make the fishes to grow faster? Now, let me explain to you. The point is, using an earthen pond like this, it actually makes the fishes feel like they are in their natural habitat, like they are in the ocean. Yeah, do you know why they feel like that? Because look at this water you're looking at now that is inside this pond. This water was not pumped into this place. The water actually came from the ground. Like, we are still constructing this place and we have not filled it up with any water entirely. All this water you're seeing here now, all this water that you're seeing actually came from the ground. And when you get this kind of water is usually natural. It feels cold. When you touch this water now, you're going to feel that it is cold. And that's the kind of water that these fishes enjoy so much because they feel lively inside. And when they are lively, they tend to grow better. Now, some of you will be looking at this water and will be feeling like, but this water looks dirty. Why would you say that this is actually better than using any other kind of pond? Yeah, the water is looking dirty right now because we are actually at the constructing process. We are still constructing this particular pond you're seeing. Normally, it's going to be looking very, very clean when we are done. So now that we are just constructing this place now, the next thing to do is to pump out this first set of water you're seeing. We'll pump it out. We have our gutter outside, so we will use a machine that we will be using to pump out the water, to pump out this water you're seeing. All these ones are the dirty parts. So we'll pump out the dirty one. When we pump out this dirty one, with any other water that is coming out from this pond after now, it's going to be extremely clean. It's going to be what? Extremely clean. Very, very clean. I'm feeling so excited right now. I feel like jumping into the pond, like, no, I'm not gonna try that. I'm not gonna ever try that. At least I'll be afraid let something not bite me from inside the pond. Although there's nothing inside the pond, but I'm not gonna try my luck. No, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, yeah. So I want to go into why I actually chose to use earthen pond in details. Yeah, when I was making my inquiries, I asked a lot of questions. Yeah, trust me, I asked a lot of questions. I read so much books. I visited a lot of people's farm. I tried in as much as possible to consult professionals. Yeah, then I found out, just like I said initially, that earthen pond is the best. Now, earthen pond is the best doesn't mean that earthen pond is meant for everyone. No, earthen pond is not for everyone. Now, this is the major reason why earthen pond is the best for my own particular farm. Now, if you check closely, check out this soil. I don't know if the camera is able to capture that very well. You will notice that this is a white sand. This is a white sand. You understand? This is not a clay soil like maybe every other places. So the parts that my farm is situated in the place my farm is situated in, the ground actually has a white sharp sand underneath. Let's go to the other side so you see exactly what I'm talking about. This is our chief engineer, the engineer in charge of the pond construction. Yeah, that is my engineer. So as you can see, I don't know if the camera is able to capture this. Check, you just check inside, zoom in, you see that the sand you're seeing there is white sand, yes, white sharp sand. And you can only use earthen pond when you have sharp white sand in your land, underneath your land. Yeah, I mean it. It's very, very, very important for you to note that. If the land itself is filled up with clay soil, like in my village where I am actually from originally, our land is filled up with a lot of red sand, clay muds. That is exactly what you're going to see. So if I'm to set up a fish farm in a place like that, trust me, I will definitely not be thinking of using an earthen pond, because if I say I should use an earthen pond in that kind of place, definitely it will not make the fishes to do well. Instead, it's going to make them do extremely bad. You get? So if you're going to use an earthen pond, you have to be 100% sure, trust me, 100% sure that your land is going to produce a white sand after digging. Or better still, you just dig to a certain extent. Maybe you just dig one part of the pond to a certain extent and then try to check if it's going to be white sand, white clay sand, that is white sharp sand that you're going to be seeing, or it's going to be a red mud. If it is a red mud, then it's a no from me. Now, let me tell you the reason why this white sharp sand is very important. Now, if you check now, this pond you're seeing that we are actually digging now, this water you're seeing inside came from the ground. And the only kind of sand that can actually guarantee this is if your land actually has a white sharp sand. Do you get? If your land has a white sharp sand in it, that's the only time you can actually guarantee that the water will be coming out from the ground. Now, the essence of earthen pond is for you not to be pumping in water every day or pumping out, changing the water regularly every day, because normally for earthen ponds, you don't have to change your water every day. Yeah, you don't have to change your water every day. That is one of the advantages, because if you are going to be using the tarpaulin pond, if you are going to be using the concrete pond or the fish tank, any one of them, you have to be changing your water at least every 48 hours. That is at least for your fishes to do well. Some people change their water every 24 hours. That kind of thing now will not be necessary for me, because I'm using an earthen pond and my land itself produces most of the water that I need. Yes, I'm still going to have a borehole, because someone might ask, okay, if your land is producing the water, then you don't need a borehole. No, I need a borehole. Why? If I pump out the water inside this place, the water that is going to come out from the ground might not come out very fast, and the fishes that are inside might start dying or something, or be stressed before the water is going to come up. So the borehole is what I'm going to use in pumping in water into the pond, so that the place will be filled with water on time. But the earthen pond itself produces water and it makes the fishes do better. Okay, now there's something I want to add. You know, I mentioned earlier that you cannot use a clay soil, that's the red mud, any land that has red mud underneath, that you should not consider it for an earthen pond. Actually, you can use it for an earthen pond. The reason why I said you should not consider it for an earthen pond is because you will not get the same results with using a pond that has sharp white sand like this underneath. Once it is a clay soil, you will definitely not get exactly the same results with this. Now, you know that if you are to use a sharp white sand, yeah, if you are to use an earthen pond that has sharp white sand underneath, it will only take your fishes exactly 4 months for majority of them to attain 1 kg. That is the standard table size you get. But when you're using an earthen pond that is being filled up with, let's say, the red mud simply means that water will not be generating from the ground of the pond. You get, since water is not generating from the ground of the pond, it will not feel like the natural habitat to the fishes. You get, so, and if they are not feeling cold, other cool feeling that they get from probably a river or in the ocean, definitely it will still look very much like you're using a regular concrete pond, or you're using the normal tarpaulin pond and the rest of them. You get, that is why I said if it is a clay soil, it is a no from me. Now you can decide to use your land with earthen pond, but for me it should not be considered. Rather, just consider using either the concrete pond. I know concrete pond is usually very expensive to construct. You can consider using the fish tank, that is the tank, or you can use the tarpaulin pond, which is actually more which is actually more cheaper compared to the concrete pond. You get, so if your land is not having a sharp white sand, don't ever consider going for earthen ponds. The thing I want to talk about now is the favorite part for me, talking about the cost. You see, in comparison to concrete pond, tarpaulin pond, and the tanks, the cost of constructing an earthen pond is way cheaper, like way cheaper than constructing a concrete pond or even the tarpaulin pond. Now, this pond you're looking at now is actually a 3,000 capacity pond. The point is, the plan is for me to have this pond you're seeing now, this 3,000 capacity you're seeing now. The plan is for me to have 5 of this on this plot of land. Yeah, this is actually a plot of land. In the calculation is around 120 by 60. Yeah, 120 by 60 is a complete plot of land. Now, imagine having this 3,000 capacity pond. For you to construct this 3,000 capacity for a concrete pond or the tarpaulin pond. I'm mentioning this concrete pond and tarpaulin pond because that is actually what is mostly used by a lot of people these days. It's either concrete pond, tarpaulin pond, or the tanks, or the fish tanks. So if you're going to talk about this thing that we're talking about now, it's always cheaper to use this. I'm not talking about 10% cheaper. I'm not talking about 5% cheaper. I'm talking about 50% cheaper or even more. Yeah, I mean it. This is going to cost you about 50% lesser, 50 to 60% cheaper than using a tarpaulin pond. Yeah. So if I am going to advise you, really, it's better you just go for earthen pond if your land can actually allow you. But if your land cannot allow you, then you should just do what? Go for a tarpaulin pond or a concrete pond. Every pros has cons. Now, let's go into the disadvantage properly. Now, the major reason why I was actually considering using an earthen pond is because I have my own land. Yeah, I have my own land. If you do not have your own land, probably you want to rent for short lease, or maybe you don't have enough space that you want to use, then it is always better you go for the tarpaulin pond because it is actually mobile. Tarpaulin ponds, you can use it at a place and then decide after a period of time that, okay, I am no longer using this particular location anymore. I want to change my location to a better place. Then you can lose it, dismantle it, and then take it to other places and then set it up because it's often considered as a mobile pond. While talking about the earthen pond is kind of a long time investment. It's a long time investment. In short, we can actually consider it as a permanent investment because you consider it a permanent investment, because if you actually want to go change the location of your farm, that is the earthen pond, you definitely have to just forget about every money that has been spent on that particular land that you've considered, that you've constructed the earthen ponds already. So as far as you do not have a land, you are renting the land, maybe on a short lease or something, then forget about earthen pond. The tarpaulin pond is always the best option, because you can always take it around. You can always take it around.